One common problem with WSL or Ubuntu is that the Python version that is installed is usually not the latest. So for example, if we do Python 3 version, this maps to 3.12. Right now we have 3.14 in market already. Ubuntu versions that are available by default is usually a couple of generations behind. And this is by design. So how do you upgrade to the latest version? I'm going to show you two ways how to do it. One is the de facto standard nowadays, which is UV. The other is using APT and a third-party package manager. UV is the standard because it is more secure and it is backed by open source community of contributors. While the third-party package version works, but there's no need for you to do that. But I'm going to show you how to do both. Nowadays, UV is de facto the standard when it comes to working with Python. It is written in Rust and it's extremely fast. In fact, it claims to be almost 10 to 100 times faster than pip. And this single UV tool replaces not just pip, but a bunch of other things. So let's see how we can install UV. To install UV, I would recommend just use the installer script. There are other ways, but this is the best because you'll always get the latest version directly from the official provider. These scripts are available in the article linked in the comments. We run the auto installer. We add the UV binary to the path. And now if I do UV version, it shows me UV has been installed. Installing UV is this simple, but your Python is not upgraded yet. How do you upgrade your Python? If you do Python version, you're still at 3.12. So I'm going to show you a practical example. Let's create a project and cd into the directory. What we're going to do is we're going to use UV to install the latest version, which is UV Python install 3.14. This will download the Python version onto my system. As you can see, it says this package has been installed. The good thing about UV is it not just only downloads the packages that you asked for, but it also controls the other versions of Python which has already been installed. So you don't have to worry about a sprawl of multiple Python versions across different places. How do we see that? We can list the installed versions. So you can see it has downloaded the versions that I have asked for. Now, how do I use this version? We can create a virtual environment using UV. So UV venv. Venv stands for virtual environment. I'm going to name it .venv. Then we're going to say which Python version. Now, if you run this command to activate, your virtual environment is active. And if I run Python -version, it says 3.14. Now, once we have activated the virtual environment, we can start using Python 3.14. In fact, we can pin this to this particular project. What this does is it creates a file named .python version and it stores the Python version which is going to be used for the project. This way the project knows which Python version it is built upon, so you avoid package conflicts across different versions. How do I install a new package now? You can add UV in front of the pip install command and it will work. And did I mention it was fast? Look at this. It installed 5 libraries in less than half a second. Now we can test this by writing a simple Python app. We can import request, then we define a function. We try to get a placeholder JSON data. We can use response to fetch the data. We can extract the JSON from the response. And then we print it. And then we call the function to print the data. How do I run this application? We can simply do uv run app.py and it works. This was how you can use UV to install the latest version of Python. Now, if you're not satisfied with this, you want to change the system version of Python, then we have to take some drastic measures to update the system version of Python. We will update our packages first. The latest version of Python by default is not available on the Ubuntu's official repositories. So we have to get it from a third-party repository. In this case, we will use this repository. So we're going to add it to our list of repos in apt. Press enter when asked. And then we can update the sources. Now you can search for the latest version of Python by grepping the apt list. As you can see, the latest Python 3.4 version is available for us to install. All we will need to do is run sudo apt install Python 3.1. I don't need to activate virtual environment. I don't need to use UV. I can simply do Python 3.14. Right, but it's still recommended that you create a virtual environment. You can do this by running the venv module. Same as UV, we can activate the module. Now you can install any packages from pip and use Python the old-fashioned way. Now, if you don't like typing the Python version in detail, what you can do is you can set up aliases. So for example, we can refer to the latest version that we installed as only py. So we set up one alias. Similarly, we set up another alias for Python as a shortcut. Now we reload our bash rc. If you check your Python version, it tells you it is 3.14. Similarly, if you check your Pi version, it tells you 3.14. We've set up an alias for these two commands. This makes it extremely easy for you to not change anything in your system, but yet be able to use the latest version of Python. This is the version that I recommend using. So in conclusion, even though the classic way still works, but the recommendation is move to UV. UV is the future. UV is exceptional. Everybody loves it. Even the best developers are behind UV, and you will see over a period of time, number of package managers and UV environment managers is going to reduce, and you will have more and more reliance on UV. Learn UV, use UV. That is the way forward.